It's down the land with Farms, Heartland.
Hello, I'm Joyce Woodworth. Welcome to the Spirit of the Heartland. I have just discovered a geocache here in the Great River Bluff State Park. This is one of approximately 1 million which are hidden throughout the world. In today's show, we're going to find out exactly what a geocache is, how you can participate in finding them for yourself, and the fun that goes along with the discovery.
The Great River Bluff State Park is one of 72 state parks and recreational areas, all of which offer a geocaching experience in the state of Minnesota. It is located off of Highway 90 at Nodine, between Winona and La Crescent. It is nestled on top of and within the bluffs overlooking the Mississippi River, offering some spectacular views of the river valley below and some beautiful hiking trails.
Well, we're sitting right here in the middle of the Great Rivers Bluff State Park, and I'm sitting with Rick Samples, who is the primary park ranger here, and he's going to tell us a little bit about geocaching and what it means to the state park. Hi, Rick.
Hi, Joyce. Thanks for coming out today.
Oh, you're more than welcome. This is such a new phenomenon, I think, the geocaching. Can you explain to us exactly what it is? I've met so many people that have no idea what I'm talking about.
It is kind of a new thing. It's really an electronic treasure hunt is the best way to describe it. It takes elements of modern-day gadgetry and combines them with the interest of being outdoors. What you're really doing is taking a GPS unit and some coordinates and finding a hidden treasure, and then documenting that find online, if you wish, to show other geocachers what you've accomplished.
Well, you obviously know quite a bit about geocaching. It sounds like you've done it quite a bit yourself. Yep. But where did it originate? How did it come about?
It's only been around about 10 years. In the late 1990s, the Defense Department had GPS and satellite capability, of course, that was not available to the public. I think it was in the year 2000, then President Clinton signed a declaration that freed those satellites up to make them available for public use. And almost instantaneously from that, individuals got the idea of using it recreationally to hide treasure for their friends to find, and geocaching was off and running. Currently in Great River Bluff State Park, we have 3 caches. One of them sponsored by the state of Minnesota, and then 2 of them are private individuals that have applied for and been granted the opportunity to put a cache in the state park. So we have 3.
Okay.
Around Winona is a fabulous place to geocache. There's literally hundreds of them around the Winona area.
Mm-hmm. Well, tell me, what are the benefits to the state park of having these geocachings?
The thing that's exciting about this is that it gets people together and gets them outside. Where you might have Grandma and Grandpa with the grandkids like the electronic gadget. Grandma and Grandpa want them to get outside, and they do it as a family unit. So that's what we see quite a bit of.
Mm-hmm. Now, I understand that some of the state parks throughout the nation aren't as amenable to having geocaching in their state park. Can you tell me the drawbacks of it, and then, of course, the pluses?
Sure. There was some concern that maybe they were being placed in areas that were fragile, had natural resources that were fragile, or it had some other element. Maybe it was in a risky area that would be dangerous to those people. So there was a little bit of a hesitation. Minnesota State Parks looked at it early on and said, this is an opportunity to help get people out into the parks in a new way. It was so exciting that then the state of Minnesota State Parks sponsored a geocache program last year in all 72 parks. The response was overwhelming, so now we've got a permanent geocache program.
The hidden geocaches in the Minnesota State Parks each contain a critter card with a picture and information about an insect or animal found in the park. You also may find puzzles to solve and activities for the outdoor adventurer. The exciting part is discovering a hidden treasure, recording it, and moving from park to park to see how many geocaches you can find.
Well, now tell me, it is electronic, so what exactly do you need to geocache?
Well, to geocache, really what you need is a GPS unit. Mm-hmm. They range in cost from around $90 up, and From there, if you have internet connections so that you can get the coordinates to put on your GPS, you're set to go. For those people that want to try it that don't have a GPS, Minnesota State Parks has parks around the state that has GPS units available to check out at no cost.
Oh,
and in our area, Whitewater State Park has a number of GPS units. So just a willingness to get out. We also have training programs or programs for people that have never heard of geocaching and want to give it a try. And again, call your local park and we can get you out there.
Well, let's talk a little bit more about your GPS. I actually have never run a GPS before. What are the things that you look for?
You know, what you're going to look for in a GPS unit is something that's easy for you to operate. And you just have to be able to get satellite signals and enter coordinates. Well, when you first boot up your GPS unit, it's going to search for the satellites, and when it does that, it's going to post what your current location is, and that's what the coordinates are that are listed at the bottom, because the more contacts that satellites have with your unit, the more accurate your information is going to be. You're looking for longitude, latitude. Once it's established itself, then you just follow the coordinates, and actually it'll lead you right to the cache. Once you get to the cache, sometimes they're covered with leaves or a log or something. They're not buried, but placers don't want to make it too easy, and so there is a bit of a search, a little bit of a treasure hunt.
Where do you originally get the coordinates from?
The best source for geocache information and coordinates is a website called geocache.com. It's free, and you can get coordinates there for all over the United States, including Minnesota State Parks. So literally there's thousands. You can download those from the computer right into your GPS unit if you want.
Well, Rick, what are some of the rules that the state park requires for people coming in here to go geocaching?
If they're going out to geocache, really all they have to do is have a permit to be in the park, a vehicle use permit, and that's it. And then they need to observe any of the normal state park rules. We do have some areas that are posted as non-entry for protection of resource, so they wouldn't want to be in those areas. Otherwise, that's it. If you're somebody wanting to place a cache, then what you need to do is fill out a very simple application form that identifies where it's going to be. I look it over, determine that it's not in an area that would be hazardous or detrimental to the resource, and then it's approved. Then you're responsible to maintain that cache yourself. There's a few ethics to geocaching, and that's that the geocache is never buried. It can never be in an unsafe location, and it should be containing things that are of a tasteful nature, nothing that's offensive.
Well, what kind of things can people find in these geocaches?
You know, that just depends geocache to geocache. Typically there's a logbook, and that logbook could be a small binder. It could be a small rolled up single piece of paper, depending upon the size of the cache. And the idea is that then you log in your find. Usually cachers have some kind of a code name that they'll put as an online identity, and that's what they'll sign in with. Also, you might find in a cache trinkets, traveling bugs they call them. The idea is that I would take a traveling bug from maybe a cache found in Great River Bluff State Park, and then if I'm going to South Dakota, I would put it in a cache there, and it would travel its way around the country. So you find trinkets. People will put their business cards, they'll put jacks, they'll put marbles, any little trinket that identifies that they were there.
Rick, I have my business card right here in my pocket, and I would like to put this in one of your catches.
Okay.
Could you help me with that? Help me
Yes.
find it and show us how to do that, and I'll put this
Absolutely.
in the catch.
Yeah, we'll be successful.
Oh, this will be fun.
Okay. Hey, our coordinates right now, Joyce, are north 43 degrees, 56.887, west 091 degrees, 23.614. So that's where we are right now. Now what I've done is I downloaded the coordinates for a private cache that's been authorized to be in the park called the Little Kipper, and we're going to go find that. The direction is down the trail, and it looks like right now we're about 300 feet away. It has an arrow. You follow that arrow, and as you get closer, the distance number will get smaller until you know that you're getting close to the geocache.
Okay.
Well, let's go. You lead the way.
Okay, let's go.
All right. So 300 feet is about
A football field.
About a football field
about a
length.
football field.
Okay.
So we've walked a little ways here. Now the GPS is, one of the things that we got to consider is we're in a tree canopy. So because of the tree canopy, the satellites can't see us as well. So you want to kind of know a little bit about where you're going to go before you get too far and lose the satellite signal. Now we've still got a signal, and it's showing now that we want to go to the left.
Okay, so we're heading off in this direction. Okay.
So let's keep going, and it's telling us straight ahead. And right now we've got down to about 100 feet, so we know we're within 100 feet of the cache, and we're going in the right direction.
Let's just stop one moment, because I can see this is the advantage of doing it in the state park. It is so beautiful in here. I mean, we're standing in the middle of a sugar maple forest, it looks like.
Yeah, and you can geocache any time of the year. The caches are out all year round. Sometimes it's pretty neat to get out in the winter and try to find one as well. So
cool.
Okay, now Joyce, if you look at the reading here, you see that we're within about 20 feet, and we want to go to the coordinates. Now you remember from the coordinates that we had downloaded that we're within the neighborhood, and you can see it's got an accuracy, and we're probably within about 10 or so feet right now. So this would be the time where you'd want to put the GPS away and start using your instincts. We know that it's not going to be buried. We know that it's not going to be in an unsafe location. We know from the clue that it's pretty easy find. What the person that left it, instructions were that it was a normal sized cache. So it's going to be a small box, like an ammo box.
Okay. And now we have to look around. Would it be like obvious in the woods? Would it be on the ground? Do we know any other clues?
It was on the ground. It was placed on the ground, and we're within about 10 feet. One of the advantages of being in the state park is that you're not going to be finding a lot of other debris. So when you find something that is out of place, then you probably found the cache.
I don't see anything unusual other than this beautiful oak tree. I think this is an oak tree, isn't it? Yes, it is, and it's spectacular.
Well, now let's do this. If you were trying to hide a treasure for somebody to find in this area, where might you place it?
Okay, that's a good point. Well, I see a log kind of laying here, and I kind of feel like you're leading me over here, so I'm thinking it might be by this log somewhere.
The GPS tells us that we're very, very close.
Okay.
So we know that we're hot.
Okay.
As we just kind of look around here, is there anything that would be out of place? Anything that doesn't fit?
Okay. Let's see.
Find it. Sometimes you gotta look up a little bit, sometimes down. This one said it was on the ground, though. That was the instructions that was given.
You know what? I think I found
there you do. You found it.
Oh, this is wonderful. I did find it. Look, it says official catch. So it really is the catch.
Yeah.
And this is what they look like.
That's what most of them look like. Now, they can be different containers. Some people use a plastic container. They can be very small, but this is what I would call a pretty standard geocache.
All right. Well, let's take a look at the inside of it.
Give it open. One of the things that the cache hiders try to do is have it in a sealed item so that moisture stays out. As you're looking, you'll find that there's a number of different things that people that have found the cache have left, little mementos. Swags, what this is called.
Skateboard. Swags? These are swags?
This is swag. This is somebody's left.
Sweet.
And it's just little knickknacks of things that people leave, and that identifies that I'm here. Here's somebody found by H. Man of Minneapolis, Minnesota. Sometimes in the summer, what you'll find are people will leave bug repellent if it's an area that's
sort of useful things.
Useful things.
Yeah.
Now, within this clear bag that you found, you see that there's a small pad. That's actually where you want to write your name and the date that you found it, and that'll be, again, evidence that you were here.
All right. Well, here's my business card right here. I've got the date on it, and I'll put it right in there.
Yeah.
And this is what we need to do is write our name on
That's
here.
your log, yeah. A couple of days ago,
right.
somebody had found it.
And they call themselves the Trail Buds.
Right, yeah.
Oh, that's
yeah.
really cute.
So you'll have to come up with a buzz name for yourself. But for today, I would just sign in and put today's date.
My first find. Oh, how fun this is.
Yeah. The other thing that you'll want to do then is to go to geocache.com and document your find.
Okay.
You'll have a username. It's free,
Uh-huh.
and then you can keep track electronically of all the finds that you have, and it'll map where you found them, and it's pretty neat. Pretty neat.
Oh, this is really fun, and what a great fun thing to do with a family. You're absolutely right.
Now, once you find
Uh-huh.
it, the key is to place it back the way you found it, so that the next geocache person will have that same opportunity that you had.
All right.
So.
Right there. Excellent. There it is.
Yeah, there you go. If somebody wasn't looking for it, they wouldn't find it.
Oh, Rick, thanks so much for helping us
Thank
find
you.
this.
I hope I've opened the door to you being a geocacher.
I think you have.
Good.
And plus, you're probably opening the door to many, many families out there that want a fun activity.
Hopefully that's the idea, is to get people outside doing something healthy and wholesome and having fun doing it.
Great, thanks.
Well, I first got interested in geocaching right here in my studio at HBC with my videographer, Robert Pack, who was telling me about a trip that he had taken with his father and his brother to all different parts of this area looking for geocaches. And I thought, what is a geocache? So he explained it very nicely to me, and he offered to explain it to us, too. So I'd like to introduce at this time Robert Pack. Hey,
Hi, Joyce.
Robert.
How's it going?
It's going good.
Good.
You know, I'd really like to talk a little bit about the geocaching, just like you told me a couple weeks ago about it. We talked about geocaching new to this area and new to you about a year ago, I understand, and you got very involved. You're really an avid geocacher now within a year's time.
Yeah, I enjoy it. About a year ago, as part of the 150th anniversary of Minnesota, all the state parks here had a geocache. And so you can kind of, as a way to get people to come to the parks and a new way to enjoy the parks. And so my dad, my brother and I were up in the North Shore, and that's where we started. We found a couple up there at Temperance River and Cascade River. And then when we came home, we found 3 or 4 here in the area, Whitewater, Frontenac, and those parks.
And since that time, a year ago, you have found how many geocaches?
Well, I'm still a rookie. I've only found 73.
That's
But,
a lot.
But made a trip to West Bend, Wisconsin. Had a big geocaching event there, and met people who found, several hundred, several thousand. Someone found 30,000 worldwide, and so I can see I'm enjoying it. I'm getting to the novice/veteran level, but I'm still a rookie.
And is your interest peaking as you go along? Are you getting more and more interested or less interested?
Oh, definitely more and more.
Really?
Just being able to go out there and knowing that there's something hidden that, and your mission is to find it. And I think part of the fun of the find is when you open it and you get to find what other things people left behind.
Well, tell me about some of the things that you have found.
One of the kind of the fun things is called trackable items. And each trackable item has a little number like this one does here. As if you look closely, it's a little surfboard. And it started in Hawaii and ended up in Oregon, and then kind of cross-country came here to Minnesota. Here it is. The owner is CVW. It was placed or released, as they say, January of last year in Hawaii. But this one is called the Dot Surfboard Geocoin. You can follow its travel. It started in Hawaii, and then somebody in Hawaii found it and then took it to Oregon. So it traveled 2,800 miles from Hawaii to Oregon. And then from Oregon, it traveled here to Minnesota, another 1,200 miles. And then it's been kind of going in and out of different geocaches here in Winona until I found it back in September, actually near the lake.
And what are you going to do with it now?
Well, its goal is to make it to Sioux Falls. So next time I head out west before the end of the year, I'm going to take it with me and see if I can't maybe get it to Sioux Falls or get it close enough that maybe the next person can. Well, the internet's actually pretty crucial for geocaching, and there's a nice web page called geocaching.com, and that's where we are here. So let's go to getting started. As you can see, there's a nice little YouTube video to kind of give you an idea what geocaching is. Now, to find a cache, let's go to hide and seek a cache. And Winona's really nice because all we really need to do is just type in Winona and the address. And then this will give us each geocache within a 100-mile radius. And then here we go. Now, as you can see, there are quite a few. There's just over 7,500 within a 100-mile radius, including some in Stockton. Sometimes the person who places it kind of gives it a historic story. There's a story behind it. For instance, flood 2007 Stockton has a story about it was placed shortly after the cleanup of the flood, of course. A couple of the big popular places in the area are behind the cemetery in Holsinger Lodge here in town. I've found about 3 or 4 back there, and I know there are more. I just haven't found them yet. Here we go. Here's one in near Lake Winona I haven't found. So let's go to all nearby caches. Looks like we have about 4 to start, but I know there's probably at least 6 or 7. There are quite a few.
How about if we choose one of those and we'll go see if we can find it for the viewers?
Okay, let's choose Westlake Winona Micro. So we have the coordinates, and so we need to enter that into our GPS here. And so north 44, that's what we have, and then 02, and then 611, then west 91, and then 39, 366. We have a little map. So this is where we are, the black dot, and then the red line is the straight line to it. So we can just follow the straight line. And the other blue kind of flags there are other geocaches that I've either found or I'm still in the process of looking for.
Okay, so we're going to go and we're going to find this particular spot right down here. All right, are there any other hints or anything that we're looking for here on the internet for this particular cache?
Yep, well this one's a micro, which means it's going to be fairly small, and they're more challenging, but that's okay. They range from micros, which could be the size of a quarter or around that size, to a large, which would be a large Tupperware container, or the state parks use old ammunition boxes. That would be a regular size one, for instance.
Okay, well, let's go see if we can find it.
Okay, sounds like fun.
Robert and I left the office and headed to the West Lake of Winona to seek our treasure. We found out from the internet that it was hidden on March 9th, 2008. It is rated a 2.5 in a 5-point difficult search rating, and it is found in an easy terrain. The cache is a small micro size and contains a log and a pencil. Coordinates listed are 44 degrees north and 091 degrees west. There were no other clues.
So we found the spot here. We put in the coordinates back at the office, and now we're going to narrow it in a little bit further to find the Westlake Micro Cache, right? What's the next step?
Well, the next step, as you can see, is we have the coordinates in here, and according to our GPS, we're within about 50 feet of it.
Well, Robert's GPS has been beeping at us, so I think we've reached the point where our instinct is to take over. And Robert mentioned that perhaps there might be a tree or a bush or something kind of out of the ordinary. And of course, I see this big, beautiful tree here, and there is a big crook in it, so I'm going to go down to the crook of the tree and see if I can find anything. So come on along with me. It's fall, of course, and there's a lot of leaves right here. So I'm just going to search around in here, because this is unusual. It might be in here. And lo and behold, look at this. This is the micro cache right here in the crook of this great big tree. So I'm going to take it back into the sunshine, open it up, and we'll see what's in it. I can't wait to open this and see what's inside of it. It's so tiny, I can't imagine there's much in here at all. But, ooh, look at that. There is a pencil to write with, and I'm assuming that there's going to be a log in here to write with. And, yeah, there is a log. Let's see, there's a couple notes. I'm going to try and put my HBC calling card in there. And, yeah, oh, yeah, the last person that was here was on October 5th, it looks like, and today is October 27th. So I'm going to sign my name right here at the bottom and tell people that I was here on October 27th. Well, this proves that the geocaches come in all sizes. We found the larger ones at the Great River Bluffs Park, and here's a little tiny one that we found here at Lake Winona. We've discovered today that geocaching is great fun, particularly for families who like to go on treasure hunts. This is an activity you can have fun with around the world, and especially right here in Winona. Thanks for joining me today. Please join me again next week. Till then, enjoy the spirit of the Heartland.